Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today there's a couple of things I want to talk about. I will start off with what is sort of the most important, I suppose, and that is I've had a couple of emails, well, a few emails in fact, from people over the last few weeks asking me how I get my work framed, because they say, you know, obviously, as rightly say, it's very expensive to go to a framer, and is there a cheaper solution? Yes, there is, and it's the way I do it, and I tend to use car boot sales. I went to one about a week, no, 2 weeks ago, not last week. It was raining this Sunday, so I went to a car boot sale a couple of weeks ago, and I found some frames. I'll show you in a minute, but you can find all sorts of frames at car boot sales, down to just very simple small ones to sort of bigger elaborate sort of frames. And I very rarely do I spend more than sort of £5 on a frame. I got the two I'm going to show you in a minute. I got for £2 each, so for the pair it's £4, and they're big, substantial frames with glass and hardboard backing for watercolours. Very good condition. You know, don't need any touching up or repairing or anything like that. Absolutely perfect. But you can find lots and lots of frames at car boot sales, and I guess in America that would be like your garage sales and you know, places in different countries like garage sales and things like that. You can also within the UK use charity shops, which are a great source for finding frames for watercolour painting. If you find a bare wood one, or you know, one you don't like the colour of, you can just get some paint and spray it, or you can stain it with a dark wax, and then or lime wax, and get nice different effects to decorate the frame and make it more what you want. Now, I'm not saying every frame I buy is a frame that I would choose for myself at a car boot sale. I tend to sort of, if I try and get one that is the perfect frame, the sort of frame I'd want hanging on my wall, you're going to be very lucky to do that. So you've got to go with it. You've got to realise that the people that look at that, as long as it suits your painting, that people aren't really going to matter. It's not going to matter so much. So yeah, I just go for a frame that's kind of looks reasonably good. It's going to suit a watercolour painting, and looks presentable, looks professional, and all that sort of stuff. So let me just show you the two paintings that are the two frames that I found. Right, there's one. It's quite big. That's a big old frame with glass. Comes with a backing board. And I got two of those, and they were £2 each, and that's the sort of price. You know, that was quite cheap because it's a very good frame. It's a very big frame. Just to show, I'm not selling porkies. I got two of them for £4, which I was really pleased with, very pleased indeed. The other one I got was, I thought this was a great deal. It's an actual oil painting, and I do a lot of oil painting myself, so I can use it for that. Or I could glaze it and put a watercolour in it. It would look great. But this frame is beautiful. It's a solid wood frame with an antique gold finish, and I paid £2 for that, inclusive of an original oil painting as well. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. I really do. And there's the back. I took the back off just to check the painting out and see if there's anything written on the back of the paper. It's painted on hardboard. It's been professionally framed, and the quality of that frame is lovely. Now, that frame in a framer's would cost you, gosh, I don't know, £35 plus, I suspect, £40, I don't know, but around that sort of money. And it's a fabulous frame, it really is. So that will look great on something. So that was the three I found on the car boot sale a couple of weeks ago. If I find more, I'll try and include them in more videos to give people some ideas. I tend to mount my own paintings, so I don't have issues with mounts. I've got a mount cutter and I cut my own mounts. And also, what I do is I buy a frame. I don't try and find a frame at a car boot sale that's going to fit my painting. What I tend to do is I buy frames at car boot sales, and then I paint for the frames. So if I've got a load of A3 size, approximate size frames, I'll paint a load of paintings, or when I go out I'll sketch to that size to use up the frames if I'm going to frame them. So that's simple really. So yeah, so if you go to a car boot sale and you take £20 with you, you could easily walk away with probably 7 or 8 frames for that. And you know, there is a lot of rubbish there. you know, you've got to be careful, make sure the corners are mited nicely and that they're solid frames. But there's so many frames there with old prints in, or modern prints that people, if they've gone out of fashion, and the frames would be just fabulous for using with your watercolours. So that's what I do. And the other thing, quickly, before I forget, is in the next, it's probably going to be within, it's going to be within the next year, but I'm planning a trip away, and it's either going to be, I've got two choices. It's either going to be an extended trip abroad for a couple of months, or I'm looking, possibly I might be buying a little old camper van, and I might tour the UK, maybe France, depending on money and that sort of stuff. And I'm going to tour around, but it's going to be, it's all about painting. So I'm going to be taking all the painting gear, whether I travel abroad or on foot, well, by plane, and then, you know, moving around to different places. I'm going to be taking my painting stuff and keeping regular updates on what's going on via YouTube and my website. So whether I go, you know, like I say, I go abroad or I stay within the UK, it's all going to be about watercolour painting and what I do on my trips, on my travel. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, it's going to be, it seems like it is a long way off at the moment, but what I'm going to do as we get closer to it happening, obviously I'll talk more about and explain what's happening. But basically what I'm trying to say is, to help me fund my trip and pay for my things, what I've done is I've decided to put some of my paintings, I've got loads of paintings here, and I've been giving them away on the website for doing competitions and stuff, and people have been making donations and stuff. But what I've decided to do is put them now on eBay. So there's a link to my eBay auctions beneath the video, and you know, they're very competitively priced. They're quite cheap. In fact, there's nothing, they're not expensive. So if anybody fancies Patrick Lee Green's original, then there's an opportunity there to buy one on eBay. But apart from that, yeah, nothing much is happening really. So yeah, I look forward to. So anyway, check out the frames, and also check out the paintings on eBay if it's something you're interested in. Okay, so thanks for watching. And oh yeah, one other thing, don't forget to check out my website as well, www.purewatercolour.com. There's a forum there, and there's lots of videos and resources you can use for artists. There's photos you can use for work and stuff. And there's also a very active forum where people upload their work and they chat about what they've been doing and stuff like that. It's a great community of artists on there, and some people produce some lovely work and post it on the website. So I thank them all very much for that. So yeah, please, yeah, so that's it, I suppose. What am I going to say now? Nothing. So thanks ever so much for watching, and bye for now.